out after being alleged to have had inappropriate relations with their staff members. And Congress voted against disclosing who those members are and were, if some of them are now out of Congress. Just imagine that. Taxpayer dollars paying to cover up this type of atrocious behavior by the representatives that we elect to serve our interest. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It falls below despicable. And I'm saying this as a conservative. I don't look at this as a right or a left thing. I have a 1-year-old daughter now. And to me, when I think about powerful men doing things against women who are subordinate to them, who can't really defend themselves, who may be afraid to speak up because they don't want to lose their jobs, and then our elected officials on both sides had an opportunity to say, you know what, we're not going to stand for this anymore. We're going to disclose the names. We're no longer going to pay out to protect powerful people. And they decided to bury it. Just imagine that, Anderson. In what universe would a moral society say that that is acceptable, that is okay?
It's bizarre to me, Chris. I mean, the behavior, obviously, if the allegations are true against Representative Swalwell, there are legal ramifications. For Congressman, for the Republican congressman, the arrogance that he thought, if the text messages that he was sending, the pressure he was allegedly putting on the woman who ended up dying by suicide and perhaps others, or at least another, it's shocking that he thought that was acceptable. I mean, in this day and age, asking somebody you are working with repeatedly for naked photographs and pressuring them to have sexual relations with you, it's what planet is that person living on?
In any place, in any work environment, I mean, I am actually an equal opportunity representative in the military, in the Army with my unit. And we discuss situations like this all the time. And doing something like this to people that are subordinate to you or just even that work with you in a work environment just makes it so uncomfortable. And it's totally not accepted. It's definitely not accepted in the military. We fight it through and through. It's not accepted in any workplace at all. And especially a member of Congress who has such power and ruling over things that occur in this country. To have this happen in Congress is just completely unacceptable.
Sure, Michael, do you think GOP leaders should have asked Gonzalez to take this step earlier? I mean, obviously, there would have been, balance of power implications, I assume, but he's been hanging on.
Sure, but Anderson, who cares respectfully about balance of power? I'm not saying this to you, but I'm just saying broadly speaking. Who cares when you have a member amongst your ranks who have clearly violated what I presume should be an ethical or moral principle of conservatives, but hell, any decent person. Who cares if you lose a vote? You shouldn't want people like that amongst your ranks. And to me, as a Christian, do I put my political values above my moral and spiritual ones? Of course not. And my expectation is that our leaders on both sides should not do the same. And what I'm worried about, Anderson, is a month from now, 2 months from now, we will have moved on. We'll be on to the next story. But what about the young staff women who have to carry this shame, this predatory behavior with them for the rest of their lives that they will never get over? They'll never get their justice. They'll never get their due day in court because we've buried it. We've moved on, and that's something that Congress continues to perpetuate. And to me, I think we have to keep focused on this to make sure that it doesn't continue because these guys going away doesn't stop this. It merely says, well, we'll pay attention to them. We won't